Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The 58th great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu was Kamsari Sena. The 59th was Ramasena. The 60th was Ramchandra Kaviraj. And the 61st, 62nd and 63rd were Govinda, Sri Ranga and Mukunda, who were all physicians. Purport. Sri Ramchandra Kaviraj, the son of Khandavasi Chiranjiva and Sunanda, was a disciple of Srinivas Acharya and the most intimate friend of Narottam Das Thakur, who prayed several times for his association. His youngest brother was Govinda Kaviraj. Srila Jiva Goswami very much appreciated Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj's great devotion to Lord Krishna and therefore gave him the title Kaviraj. Sri Ramchandra Kaviraj, who was perpetually disinterested in family life, greatly assisted in the preaching work of Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur. He resided at first in Srikhanda, but later in the village of Kumara Nagar, on the bank of the Ganges. Govinda Kaviraj was the brother of Ramchandra Kaviraj and the youngest son of Chiranjeev of Srikhanda. Although at first a Shakta or worshipper of goddess Durga, he was later initiated by Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. Govinda Kaviraj also resided first in Srikhanda and then in Kumaranagar, but later he moved to the village known as Telia Budari on the southern bank of the river Padma. Since Govinda Kaviraj, the author of 2 books, Sangeeta Madhav and Gitamrita, was a great Vaishnava Kavi or poet, Srila Jiva Goswami gave him the title Kaviraj. He is described in the Bhakti Ratnakar 9th Taranga. Kamsari Sena was formerly Ratnavali in Vraja, as described in the Gaur Ganodesha Deepika, verses 194 and 200. So this is a wonderful description of the heroes of the Krishna consciousness movement in the 16th and 17th century. We're reading from chapter 11. Chapter 9, Mahaprabhu starts saying that my name is Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara means, Vishwam means the universe, and Bhara has 2 meanings. One is, or rather 3 meanings. One is protector, another is upholder, but the meaning that Mahaprabhu refers is one who fills, Bhara, to fill. So he says, my name is Vishwambhara, the filler of the universe. What shall I fill this universe with? I'll fill this universe with the love of Krishna, Krishna Prema. And to fill this universe with Krishna Prema, I have to bring that Krishna Prema from the spiritual world. So he brings the Krishna Prema from the spiritual world, and through the mercy of Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, he himself becomes the gardener as well as the trunk of the tree of devotional service. And that tree of devotional service, Mahaprabhu, has many, many branches, just like any tree has several branches. But 130 upashakhas, which means secondary branches. But there are 3 main branches coming out from the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kabiraj Goswami says the 3 branches are the branch of Nityananda Prabhu, the branch of Advaita Acharya, and the branch of Shrivas. So these 3 are the main branches. Branch of Gadadhar, not Shrivas. These are 3 other main branches. The Advaita and Gadadhar's branches, these 2 branches are combined together and quite overlapping. And those 2 branches are described in the 12th chapter, the next chapter. The 11th chapter describes the branch of Nityananda Prabhu. And this branch of Nityananda Prabhu, the Shakha and the Upashakha, the branch and the sub-branch, of Nityananda Prabhu consist of 75 associates of Lord Nityananda. And of those 75, the 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, those 6 are mentioned in this verse. Kamsari Sena, Ramasena, Ramchandra Kaviraj, Govinda, Sriranga, Mukunda. These 6 names are mentioned in this verse. So, again in Advaita Acharya Prabhu's Shakha, the main person in that Shakha is Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya. But then there is also some shakhas which have become dry and dropped. Just like in a tree, sometimes some of the branches they become dry and they drop off the tree. Similarly, in Advaita Acharya's lineage, there were personalities who shifted away from the message of Mahaprabhu. It is mentioned in 12th chapter. And those personalities, they did not accept the essence, the truth. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami differentiates them as asara. Asara means those who have not grasped the essence of Mahaprabhu's teachings. And Sara means those who have grasped the essence. So he only goes on to describe those Sara devotees in the 12th chapter, and there are 38 of those. And from Gadadhar Pandit's lineage, there are 33 devotees. So this way, Kaviraj Goswami is describing these different devotees. So these 3 chapters essentially tell us about the great personalities of the 16th and 17th century in Bengal, in Puri, and in Kashi, these 3 places. And these devotees are described by names mainly, but in certain lines are mentioned about their glories as well. But otherwise it's only a list of names. And Srila Prabhupada has wonderfully explained to us about these personalities in brief in the purport. So, it's also worth mentioning that these personalities in the spiritual world are non-different from the Gopas or Upagopas. So, Narhari Chakravarti, actually Kavi Karnapur in Gaur Ganoddesh Deepika is the first one to classify the associates of Mahaprabhu as Gopalas who belong to Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, they are Gopalas, and then those who belong to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar and Advaita, they are classified as Mahantas. And then Narhari Chakravarti, in Bhakti Ratnakar, he says the groups of Gadadhar, Advaita and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are called Mahantas, and they are 64 in number. So he gives a list of 64 Mahantas. And in Nityananda Prabhu's group, there are Gopalas, 12 primary Gopalas, and then Upagopalas, which are another 12 supporting those Gopalas. So this is the arrangement that Kavi Karnapur first lays out. Krishnadas Kaviraj, he mentions also that these are Sakha, Vraja Sakha. He mentions in this chapter that these 12 individuals who are primary associates of Nityananda Prabhu are the 12 Vraja Sakhas in the spiritual world. But he doesn't go further into classifying the Mahantas. So anyway, this is how they classify. There's a beautiful verse which says, Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Korimane Sei Jai Brajendra Sutapash. One who considers these associates of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Mahaprabhu as eternal associates in the spiritual world, one who has this understanding certainly goes to the place of Vrajendra Nandana. So this is the list here is mention of 6 of them. Now I would like to go through all of them to some detail. So Kamsari Sena, the first personality mentioned, all of these personalities, they came from the same place in Bengal. They all came from Shrikhanda. Shrikhanda is In modern India, it's in West Bengal, in a place called Katwa in West Bengal. Anyone knows Katwa? Anyone has been to Katwa? Yeah, so it's a place called Katwa in West Bengal. So Kamsari Sena, he resided there. And Kamsari Sena, there is not much information about Kamsari Sena given. Unless, Prabhu, if you know, please, anyone knows, please share. But in my study, I haven't come across, much information about Kamsari Sena. Kamsari Sena, other than the fact, as Prabhupada mentions, Kamsari Sena is non-different from Ratnavali. Now we know Ratnavali is one of the Jivita Sakhis, one of the Prana Sakhis of Radharani. But again, Ratnavali is also mentioned as Gopinath Acharya. Gopinath Acharya is also mentioned as Ratnavali, right? And also, Baldev Vidyabhushan is mentioned as Ratnavali. So the same Kamsari Sena has these three expansions apparently, that you have Ratnavali is Kamsari Sena and Gopinath Acharya and Baldev Vidyabhushan. But apart from that, I don't have much information. There is not much information provided about Kamsari Sena. And then Ramasena is mentioned. Ramasena Thakur is mentioned in several places, but pastimes, very few pastimes are mentioned. And again, very marginal mention. Ramchandra Kaviraj is very, very famous. Anyone has heard of Ramchandra Kaviraj? Would you like to hear about Ramchandra Kaviraj? Yes, very well. So Ramchandra Kaviraj was disciple of Srinivas Acharya. Ramchandra Kaviraj, he was son of Chiranjeeva and Sunanda. Chiranjeeva Sena, his name was. Chiranjeeva Sena was a Vaidya by profession. He was a physician himself. And his wife was daughter of Damodar Kavi, who was a great poet in Bengal. Damodar Kavi's daughter, Sunanda, was wife of Chiranjeev. Chiranjeev Vaidya or Chiranjeev Sena. This Chiranjeev Sena had two sons. One was called Ramachandra, another was called Durgada. Two sons, Durgada and Ramachandra. Ramchandra was the older one, Durgada was the younger one. Chiranjeev was a great associate of Mahaprabhu. Every year he would go to Jagannath Puri to attend the Rath Yatra and to have darshan of Mahaprabhu. But after his passing away, the two sons, Ramachandra and Durgada, they went to their maternal grandfather. Like it is mentioned here in the purport, they resided first in Srikhanda, but later in the village of Kumaranagar. Why did they go to Kumaranagar? Because after the father's death, Chiranjeeva's death, both the brothers were supported by the maternal grandfather, Damodar Kavi. So they went to the maternal grandfather's house in Kumaranagar and they stayed with Damodar Kavi. And this Damodar Kavi, he was a great worshipper of Durga Devi. Shakta. He was a Shakta Sampradaya, which means Durga Devi, they worship Durga. So, because of his influence, both the brothers somehow, although their father was associate of Mahaprabhu, both the brothers had influence of Shakta worship, both of them, Ramchandra and Durgada. Ramchandra was very, very beautiful. It is mentioned that when he first went to Vrindavan, even the Goswamis, they were amazed by his beauty, how beautiful he was. He's a very attractive personality. So he got married at a young age. He got married to a girl called Ratnamala. And after his wedding, on the day of his wedding, immediately after the wedding, while he was coming back to Kumarnagar, which is where he was staying with his maternal grandfather. See, those days, after the wedding, you carry the bride in a palanquin and the bridegroom goes on the horse. So, Ramchandra Kaviraj, you can imagine, he's riding on the horse and his wife is there on the palanquin behind. And as they were passing, they pass a village called Yajia village, small village. And in that village, Srinivas Acharya is giving Bhagavad Katha. And this is a marriage party going, and Srinivas Acharya is giving Bhagavad Katha. As the marriage party passes, somehow Ramchandra, he happens to look at Srinivas. As soon as he looks at Srinivas, he becomes so much attracted towards Srinivas from within. He keeps turning behind and he keeps looking at Srinivas. And Srinivas Acharya also looks at him. And just by exchange of glances between the Guru and to-be disciple, Ramchandra Kaviraj makes a decision that tonight, this is the night of his wedding, yeah? He's just got married. So tonight I will escape the house and I will go and come back to this village, Yajya, and I will look at this person, meet this person, see him, and, take instruction from him. He makes a sankalpa, a mental sankalpa. So, after making that sankalpa, he escapes home. At night, he stays with a Brahmin family, and in the morning, he goes and he sees Srinivas Acharya. And as he had passed, Srinivas Acharya also, in between Bhagavad Katha, he stopped speaking the Katha, and he says, does anyone know who that personality is, who is going on with the marriage party, the bridegroom? You can imagine Srinivas Acharya also interrupting his Bhagavad Katha to look at that person. And people explain, he's a great scholar. His name is Ramchandra Kaviraj. And he's very, very learned. And Srinivas Acharya says, nothing at that time. He just hears whatever is being told. And the following day, Ramchandra Kaviraj goes and sees Srinivas Acharya. And he surrenders into Srinivas Acharya. And Srinivas Acharya embraces him. And he says, just like I met Narottam Das Thakur in Vrindavan by Krishna's grace, similarly by Krishna's grace, I have met you. So he immediately recognizes him. Now, one thing very interesting is that in Krishna Lila, there are two Manjaris who are best friends. And these two Manjaris are Champak Manjari and Karuna Manjari. They are best friends. So who is Champak Manjari? And they are instructed by Narad Muni. Srinivas Acharya is Narad Muni. Champak Manjari is our Narottam Das Thakur. And Karuna Manjari is Ramchandra Kaviraj. So this is carried on from the spiritual world, this relationship. Carried forward into the material world. So, through the grace of Srinivas Acharya, Ramchandra Kaviraj also meets Narad Muni. And then Ramchandra Kaviraj stays there and studies all the Goswami literatures. He is still married, by the way. And he just informs his wife that, okay, I'm going to stay here with my guru now. And his wife is also so supportive. She says, that is perfect, you can stay there. So they have no, it's extraordinary. We cannot imitate like this. But this is their extraordinary pastime. So Ramchandra Kaviraj, after meeting Srinivas Acharya, he is ordered to go to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan he meets Narottam Das Thakur. And there is a wonderful pastime of Narottam Das Thakur and Ramchandra Kaviraj as best friends. We know Narottam Das Thakur's bhajans. He says, Daya Karo Srinivas Acharya, Prabhu Srinivasa, Ramachandra, Sangamange, Narottama Dasa. Correct? So who is that Ramachandra whose Sangha Narottam Das is asking for? Not Lord Ramchandra. He is asking for association of this best friend, Ramchandra Kaviraj. So this is the same Ramchandra Kaviraj. They were best friends. See, Kapiladev in Bhagavan Kapil Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, he says that this association and this attachment for having association is the root cause of one's bondage in the material world. He says, prasanga ajaram pasham. This is like pash, like a noose. You understand the noose? But this noose is very, very extraordinary. Ajaram pasham. Ajaram means it will never wither away. It will only become tighter. It will only become stronger. Association is like that. It becomes more and more deep, deep, deep. Prasangam ajaram pasham. This is the nature of Sangha. But the same Sangha, when applied to devotees, then Kapila Muni says, Moksha dvaram anavratam. Then the same association becomes the cause of opening of the dvara, means the door of moksha. See, the same association. So Ramchandra's attachment for Narottam Das Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur's attachment for Ramchandra is like attachment between two devotees. Only and only attachment and association of devotees is liberating. Otherwise it is binding. This is what is said in 3rd canto. Anyway, so Narottam Das Thakur, he lived in Kheturi Gram. Narottam Das Thakur was a great saint, but he was not educated as such. And in Kheturi Gram, he had a large following, mainly following of Smarta Brahmanas who were taking initiation from him. But Narottam Das Thakur belonged to the Kayastha caste. Kayastha is, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur came from the same caste in society. He writes himself about his birth and family. So we know that. So these Kayasthas are actually Brahmanas. But they had adopted the profession of becoming scribes. And then from becoming scribes, they became accountants. From becoming accountants, they became businessmen. So Kayasthas are considered to be business class people. So these Smarta Brahmanas, they were thinking, this Narottam, he is simply a Kayastha. We are the Smartas. And he is accepting disciples. And his disciples are Brahmanas. Smarta Brahmanas, how can that be allowed? So they were very, very upset. And especially, there was one Smarta Brahmana called Rupa Narayana. This Rupa Narayana was very, very, very envious of Narottam Das Thakur. So he took with him the king of that place, that small region, whose name was Narsimha, King Narsimha. So King Narsimha and Rupa Narayan, they went with a whole gang of people and they said, we will confront Narottam Das and we'll put him in his place. We'll make sure that he understands that he cannot accept any disciples, let alone from Smarta Brahmanas, the superior Smartas. So when this message reached the ears of Ramchandra Kaviraj, Ramchandra Kaviraj immediately thought, I must defend my friend. So Ramchandra Kaviraj, along with Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, they went out to defend Narottam Das. This is a beautiful pastime, how they went out to defend Narottam Das. They went and disguised themselves as Kayasthas themselves, which means business people. And they disguised themselves as sellers of pots and sellers of grains and betel nuts. So Ganga Narayan Chakravarti became the seller of pots, and Ramchandra Kaviraj became seller of grains and betel nuts. So when the Brahmins, they came to Kheturi Gram, just when they were entering Kheturi Gram, they thought, we'll perform one yajna to ensure our success. When we meet Narottam Das, we want to defeat him. So to ensure our success, we'll perform a yajna. So this Rupa Narayan, the leader of the Smarta Brahmins, he sent some Brahmins to the marketplace to buy some grains and pots. And whose shop did they go to? They went to the shop of Ramchandra Kaviraj and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti devotees, without realizing that they were Ramchandra and Ganga Narayan. And the Brahmanas, they went there and said, hey, give us some pots and give us some grains. Like they would talk in a very proud way. And both Ganga Narayan and Ramchandra Kaviraj were great scholars. So they replied in chaste Sanskrit language. And they started talking to these priests. And then they started from speaking in Sanskrit language, they started arguing. And they started speaking about tattva. They said, let us discuss about tattva. Who is the supreme? And they started quoting scriptures. And these Brahmins were amazed. These are just some ordinary kayasthas. They are arguing, and they were defeated. So they went and brought their main head, who was Rup Narayan. And when Rup Narayan came, Rup Narayan also argued with them. And he was also defeated. Then he surrendered to them. He said, Go Bhavan, who are you? What is your parichay? What's your, give us your introduction. What kind of personalities are you? So the two of them said, oh, we are just ordinary. We are just the rejected disciples of Narottam Das Thakur. Oh, rejected disciples can be so powerful. Imagine what his disciples will be like, and imagine what he will be like. So they thought, oh, this Narottam Das Thakur is very, we cannot match him. So they ran away from there. So this is same Ramachandra whom Narottam Das Thakur always says in his bhajan, Ramachandra Sangamange Narottama Das. Same Ramchandra Kaviraj. And then Govinda Kaviraj is his brother. Next in the list is Govinda. Govinda Kaviraj is his brother. See, Govinda Kaviraj is the same person whose name by birth was Durgada. Two sons of Chiranjeeva. I mentioned Chiranjeeva and Sunanda had two sons, Ramchandra and Durgada. Durgada means the mercy of Durga. He was known as Durgada. Once he was very, very, very unwell. So unwell that he was about to give up his body. At that point in time, his brother Ramchandra, he said, you are trying to please Durga Devi by worshipping her to get rid of your disease. However, who should you really worship? You should really worship Govinda. If you worship Govinda, not only will you get rid of your bodily disease, you will also get rid of your material disease, and you will invoke Krishna Prema. So please, give up this worship of Durga and worship Govinda. So Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, Govinda Kaviraj was the younger brother of Ramchandra Kaviraj, the youngest son of Chiranjeev and Srikhanda. Although at first a Shakta or worshipper of goddess Durga, he was later initiated by Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. So this was instigated by Ramchandra Kaviraj while he was about to die. And then he accepted. He started chanting the Mahamantra. And after chanting the Mahamantra, his jvara, his fever disappeared. And he became a great poet, Govinda. Do you know any songs of Govinda? Govinda Das Kaviraj? Anyone knows? I'll tell you Yes. This is very famous. In San Francisco, 1967. 1967, early days of ISKCON, very early days, Srila Prabhupada, he gave a wonderful purport on this bhajan. Bhaja hure mana, Srinandanandana, Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him the name Abhaya Charanara Vindadas. That name is there in this bhajan. And who is the author of this bhajan? Govinda Dasa Abhilashare. Last line. Who is the author? Govinda Das. The same, Govinda Kaviraj. So both these brothers, as Prabhupada says in the purport, they received the title Kaviraj. So when our Govinda Kaviraj, he He regained his health. He surrendered to Srinivasacharya. He took initiation from Srinivasacharya. He then wrote these beautiful poetry. These poetries were sent to Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was a collector of manuscripts. He collected many manuscripts. And he was also the chief editor of the works of Rupa and Sanatana. All the books of Rupa and Sanatana. So, Jiva Goswami he would put the main scripture. Let's say Rupa Goswami was quoting a verse from another scripture. So he would put that scripture in front of him on top. On the left hand side, he would put a clean paper. On the right, he would put the work of Rupa Goswami, like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that he was editing. And he would make corrections in the verses or corrections to that work of Rupa Goswami. With his right hand, he would make corrections while looking at the manuscript. And with his left hand, in the other clean palm leaf, he would write the commentary on that verse. All at the same time. This was his genius. While he is editing, he is also writing commentary. So this is not an ordinary personality, extraordinary. This is Jiva Goswami. So the same Jiva Goswami, he loved collecting manuscripts. So all the Vaishnavas of Bengal, they would send their work to Jiva Goswami. But Jiva Goswami especially loved the poetries of Ramachandra and the poetries of Govinda. And hence, Jiva Goswami personally gave them both the title Kaviraj. Kaviraj means the king of poets. So their name became Ramachandra Kaviraj and Govinda Kaviraj. So these are great personalities, both of them. Then next we have Sri Ranga, Mukunda. So this Mukunda is not Mukunda Datta. This Mukunda is Mukunda Kaviraj. And Sri Ranga Kaviraj. These were three Kavirajas. Now Kaviraj in Bengali. Any Bengalis here? Any Bengali devotees here? No. So in Bengali, Kaviraj also means a physician, a doctor. So why a Kaviraj is a doctor? Because doctors, the modern day doctors, we have one doctor here. So the modern day doctors, they read these thick books, paragraphs and paragraphs. In ancient times, the Ayurvedic scripts, they were all beautiful poetries. So if you're a doctor, you are automatically also a poet. And if you're writing your own commentaries, or if you're writing on your own work on medicine, the only way you write work on medicine is through poetry. See, poetry is also easy to remember because it has a meter. So in ancient times, and even today, there are Ayurvedic doctors who will quote, like we have one in Ujjain. So that doctor, he will quote verses. While he is treating you, he will quote verses about what he is treating, why he is treating, why is the medicine such and such, what will happen with this medicine. All this nidana and everything will be given by verses. So this was the method. Nowadays, you go to GP means they have to first log into the system, check the symptoms, then they will have some reference book. They'll look at the reference book. Maybe that reference book is outdated, then you get a wrong medicine or something. So it's, but previously everything was memorized. Kaviraj. So Kaviraj also means physician. So they were also physicians because Chiranjeev was a Vaidya. He was also a physician. So Mahaprabhu's heroes are not ordinary. They are very learned. And in society also physicians respected. So we have Sri Ranga and Mukunda Kaviraj. This Sri Ranga Kaviraj, Mukunda Kaviraj, not much is known about them. Not much. Of these various personalities that I mentioned, so how much total? We have 33 belonging to Gadadhar, 38 to Advaitacharya, 75 to Nityananda Prabhu, so 146 devotees are mentioned. Of which we only know about 20% of them. Others, we know them by names. And then even if we look at other scriptures, there is not a lot of background available. So then the question is, why? Why is there not much information about them? Anyone? Why do we not hear about more information about the others? Maybe they are not important. Yes. He was the main branch. They were important, but they were not the main branches. So these are all sub-branches and of equal importance. It is mentioned these are of equal importance. In fact, Kaviraj Goswami says there are innumerable branches which I cannot mention. So many of them. So why? Why is it that we don't seem to have all the information about all the personalities? It's a very valid question. And I was pondering on this question for a long time. So the answer is given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, and this is a beautiful answer, that only those personalities who were involved in, perhaps in writing some scriptures or writing some works, and who perhaps had found references other places, they are the ones who are mentioned, but that does not mean that the others are lesser. In fact, most of the Vaishnavas are not mentioned because none of the Vaishnavas wanted to be mentioned or wanted the fame, pratishtha. They did not want the pratishtha. So, in his poem Vaishnava Ke, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, Brajavasi Gana Pracharaka Dhana. These personalities, they are Brajavasi Gana. They are from Braja. And Pracharaka Dhana. What was, they were the best of Pracharak, preachers. They were preachers. Pratishtha Bhikshuka Tara Nahe Shava. So, Shava means body, dead body. They were like dead bodies when it came to fame. What is the meaning? The meaning is, fame was completely immaterial for them. All they cared about, the real dhana was prana achetar she hetu prachar. What was their prana? Fame was not at all wanted. But what was their real goal? Their life was prachar, preaching. Pratishtha asha hina Krishna gatha shaba. Pratishtha asha hina. They had no desire for any pratishtha whatsoever. So, there were innumerable Vaishnavas with no desire for fame. Just like our Srila Prabhupada. I heard from Gurudas Prabhu recently that I was talking to him, I happened to talk to him, and he mentioned that Srila Prabhupada once, and he has mentioned this in his book also, that Srila Prabhupada was once telling him, why are you taking pictures of me? Take pictures of these devotees who are chanting Hare Krishna. I am not so important. This is the mood, because Prabhupada, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, you see so many societies are there. They have the name of their guru. And they are also known by the name of their guru. We are known as Hare Krishnas. We are not known as Prabhupadas or something like that. Because Prabhupada never put himself forward. He put Krishna. Pratishtha hina. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Pratishtha hina Krishna gatha shaba. And these were Brajavasi Gana. So books are the basis, Prabhupada said, right? Books are the basis, but what is the essence? Preaching is the essence. Purity is the force, utility is the principle. Preaching is the essence. And these were Pracharaka Gana. All these were Pracharakas. For them, life and soul was preaching. Life and soul was not fame. not self-glory. So in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam Das Thakur says, how does one get Prema Bhakti? How many of us want Prema Bhakti? Very few, huh? What is Prema Bhakti? Unalloyed devotional service. Prabhupada beautifully says, unalloyed devotional service. No, nothing mixed. There's Prema Bhakti, Shuddha Prema. So Narottam Das Thakur gives formula for Shuddha Prema. He says, Na koriho asat cheshta. Do not desire to have wrong association. Do not endeavor for association of non-devotees. Then, labha puja pratishtha. Do not desire labha, profit. I will only do something that is profitable for me. Then that is not bhakti. Puja, Srila Prabhupada says, adoration. Oh, everyone should like me. And those whom I don't like, others should not like. Those whom I like, others should like. But if there is someone I don't like, how can somebody else? I have a friend whom I consider to be a friend, and I have an enemy whom I consider to be an enemy. So my friend should not like my enemy. This is dvesha bhav. This is envy. So, puja, adoration, pratishtha. Pratishtha means fame. Labha means profit. One who gives up endeavors for wrong association, who is above profit, desire for adoration and desire for fame, only such a person can get Prema Bhakti. See, pratishtha is so difficult. He says, Sada Chinto Govinda Charana. Narottam Das Thakur says. So, na kariho asat cheshtha, labha puja pratishtha, sada chinta Govinda Charana. Otherwise, not possible. And for a devotee, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tulya Ninda Stuti Mauni. Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. Devotee, he is equal in Ninda and Stuti. Stuti means glorification. Ninda means criticism. In fact, there is enough evidence in Bhagavatam that Ninda will come. Not only glorification. Ninda will come. Everyone will face Ninda in the material world. This is the nature of the world. So Krishna also, while he is saying that one of the qualities of, he says, Bhaktiman me priyo naraha. My priya bhakta. One of his qualities is Tulya Ninda Stuti. He doesn't say Tulya Stuti Ninda. He says Tulya Ninda Stuti, because Ninda will come. Stuti may come, may or may not come. But Ninda will come. You understand? Ninda means criticism. Criticism will come. Everyone will be criticized. This is nature of the world. If somebody thinks, no, I should not be criticized. Oh, he is not thinking right. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. Bhagavan says himself, Tulya Ninda. Ninda first. Stuti. Criticism, everyone. Look at this man. And Stuti, we want glorification. We want to be noticed. How many of us don't want to be noticed? We all want to be noticed. There is a beautiful story in one of the Puranas. There was one old lady. She was very poor. She lived in a thatched hut, small hut. She had no husband, no one. She was old, no children. She was living herself. Old age, about to die. But she had desire that people should glorify her. They should appreciate her. Whenever we do something, at least somebody should appreciate. So she was thinking, somebody should notice me. So one day, somehow, under one of her boxes, old boxes she hadn't opened in many years, She opened the box and she found a pair of bangles, gold bangles. Immediately she put on the gold bangles and with her stick, she started going out of the hut. Around, she was walking up and down the neighborhood whole day, thinking that somebody will look at her and appreciate her. And nobody looked at her. Somebody will notice her. Nobody noticed. So she thought of a plan. In the evening, when all the men, they come from the farm, they come back home. In the evening, she took a light and she lit her hut on fire. So everyone came running. Oh, Maya, what happened? Old lady, what happened? How come it caught fire? And she started saying, oh, look, my hut has caught fire. And she had bangles on her hand. And she was showing people, look, my hut has caught fire. She was banging her bangles and she was saying, look, there. And then people were throwing water on the hut. No. Throw there. No, there also. And she was hoping, now people will notice. See, so much deep rooted. Person is burning her own house just to be noticed. People go crazy lengths to be noticed. Just for some cheap adoration. And then one man said, oh, what are you doing with your bangles? And she said, oh, thank God you noticed. And then the person said, oh, if this was for the bangles, you could have just told us. Why did you burn your heart for the bangles? Some people, for pratishtha, they'll burn their whole everything. They'll go all out to become famous. I just want the mic. And then I'll be famous like that. What is this fame? Also, it reminds me, if I say that right, there is no Bengalis here, so I can pass as, there is. So you can correct me, Mataji. There is one phrase in proverb in Bengali. When Srila Prabhupada, see, look at the humility of Srila Prabhupada. When he was in bed and not able to he needed help to sit up, and this is 77, later days of his mission. He would joke, he would say that I am energyless, but you are all fanning me, you are all taking so good care of me. So he would joke about himself, but actually there's a deeper message there. He would quote a Bengali proverb. The Bengali proverb goes like this. Garib manush chochinga khai. Chochinga means grasshopper. An old man who is garib, who is poor, poor old man, he's eating grasshoppers because he has no money to eat anything else. He's eating grasshoppers. He's going and picking a grasshopper, he's eating grasshoppers. The second part is, hakte gelo ghode jai. When he hakte gelo means when he goes to pass stool. In olden days, they would go to the fields to pass stool. He goes on the horse. To pass stool, he goes on the horse. So everyone notices, this man, he's going on horse, he's a big man. But in private, he is eating grasshoppers. Shakti bolchi ami? Thik ache na? So, garib manush chochinga khai. Hakte gelo ghode jai. Prabhupada would say. When he wants to pass stool, he is going on a horse. Just see. He wants to make a show. But otherwise, he is eating grasshoppers in private. This kind of show business. This pretentiousness. So we have, even in Bhagavatam, we have beautiful verse, second canto. Shvavid varaha ushtrakharai samstutaha purushaha pashuhu. Purushaha pashuhu. Shvavid varaha ushtrakharai samstutaha purushaha pashuhu. This human beings who are like pashu, like animals, human like animals, they are glorifying other human like animals. Human like animal, purushaha pashuhu, is glorifying, samstutaha, other animals. Only animals will glorify animals. Right? And who are these animals? Bhagavatam says, Shva, like a dog. What is a dog doing? Always barking, defending his territory. Yeah? Vidvaraha. Vidvaraha means stool-eating hog. Yeah? Vidvaraha, what is he doing? He is always eating. So eating, defending. Ushtra, camel. Camel is always working hard. Yeah? And sleeping. If you see camel, if it is not working, it is just sleeping. So sleeping, eating, defending. And last is Kharai, a donkey. He is always ready to mate with his she-donkey, who always kicks him in the face. So eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These 4 things these animals are doing. And such animals, human animals, glorify other human animals. So Srila Prabhupada was very, very strong. He would say, at one place in one conversation, Srila Prabhupada says that these materialistic people who are not chanting Hare Krishna are simply like animals. And then he himself asked a question. He says, and people ask, oh, how are you saying such a big man? How is he an animal? So Srila Prabhupada said, what to do? We are in the business of thankless service. So we are in the business of thankless service. So we are saying this thing. We are not expecting somebody will thank us. Oh, thank you for calling me animal. So, but the point being that if we are living a life, even in devotional service, with the attitude of getting prashamsa. See, why are these other personalities we don't know much about? Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is very clear. He says, well, they were not interested in name, fame. They were pracharak dhana. They were pracharak, preachers, with no desire for fame. In fact, Hari Bhakti Sudodhaya says this very beautifully. It says, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. One who does not have Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japas Tapah. Their Jati. Somebody may not have devotion. Yeah? But they say, oh, I am Brahmin. I'm Kshatriya. I'm big businessman, Vaishya. I'm a perfect Shudra, something, Anyway, somehow one is Jati. I'm born in a rich family. I'm born in an American family. I'm born in an Indian family. Oh, what is the big deal? This verse says, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. If there is no Bhakti, your Jati is useless. Shastram. They'll say, oh, I'm big scholar. I know the Sanskrit language. I know the Bengali language. I'm such a big scholar, so proud. Shastra. But no bhakti, useless. Japaha, even jap. I'm such a sincere devotee. I am the most humble devotee. Self-qualified, self-ordained, humble devotee. I'm the most humble devotee. I chant my rounds very perfectly. But bhakti, missing. Chanting for show. Tapaha. Austere. I do only Nirjal Ekadashis. Is that the qualification? So the verse says, Apranasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. Apranasya dehasya. Like a dead body in India, even today, when somebody passes away, even in China and other places, even in this country actually, when somebody passes away, then they might have lived like a very ragged, life, very bad life. When they pass away, they put them in the coffin, and then these undertakers, they go and they do some nice makeup, and the person has a big smile with teeth showing, and if he had no teeth, then they put dentures also, just to show. So it's like dead body. Ultimately it is, right? This verse says, it is like decoration on a dead body. Mandanam apranasya dehasya. Being perfect in jati, shastra, japa and tapa is simply decoration on a dead body if there is no bhakti. And then why does one decorate the dead body? So the last word is very nice. Mandanam means decoration. Loka ranjanam. Loka means people. Ranjanam means for their entertainment. So people will say, oh, look at him. He's dead, but so beautiful. So like that, The verse says, this is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, this verse. Prabhupada quotes this many times in his conversations. He says, Mandanam Loka Ranjanam. You are like a dead body, decorated for people's pleasure. So when I will end by saying 4 qualities of pratishtha, or 4 qualities of this desire to be noticed, desire for fame. One cannot perform bhakti for another. We must remember this. We cannot perform bhakti for the other person. We can only perform bhakti for ourselves. As soon as one performs bhakti for lokaranjanam, for entertainment of the world around, oh, I will sit very nice, when I'm in the temple, I'm sitting straight for japa. But when I'm at home, I'm really sloppy and, okay. But in temple, everyone is there, they are looking at me. Actually, nobody is looking. They have no interest in you. You only think they are looking at you. You're just sitting very straight. Like that lady, she is burning her hut for drawing some attention. So, we think ourselves so important. Pratishtha, fame. Oh, I don't want to be famous, huh? You just appreciate me. Some appreciation give. So, we should appreciate others, yes. We should be very deep in gratitude towards others. But not expect others to appreciate us and have gratitude towards us. So the difference. In our actions, we appreciate and we we show gratitude towards everyone. But don't have a reverse expectation that others will have gratitude towards us and appreciate us. Devotees. So this pratishtha, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says 4 things about pratishtha. He says, Tomar pratishtha shukarero bishta. Mataji, na? Shukarero bishta. Shukarero bishta. Shukar means hog, pig. Bishta means stool. Your fame is like stool of a hog. What is the value of a stool of a hog? What is the value? Who is interested? Nobody is interested in your fame. Yeah. Tomar pratishtha shukarera bishta. But there are some people interested. Who are they? Other hogs are interested in stool of a hog. Only hogs are interested. Right? So in Panchatantra there is a beautiful verse. In Panchatantra there is a beautiful verse. There was once a marriage of camels and donkeys. You know this? No? There was once in the jungle marriage of camels and donkeys. Ushtrakanam vivaheshu, in the marriage of donkeys. No, marriage of camels. Ushtrakanam vivaheshu, gardhabha gita gayaka. The donkeys were singers. The singing party was made of donkeys. Imagine, camel, so many curves it has, right? And then donkeys are singing in the marriage. And what is the conversation between the donkeys and camels? Parasparam prashamsanti. They are glorifying each other. Donkeys and camel. How are they glorifying? Aho rupam. The donkeys are singing, oh, what most beautiful form you have, oh camel. You are everywhere. You are, bendy everywhere. So beautiful. Camel is the most ugly. But they are saying, most beautiful. Aho rupam. And the camels are saying, oh, what wonderful singing. Aho dvani, he says. So, this is materialistic glorification. Shukarera bishta. The stool of hog, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. First point, glorification, desire to be glorified, is like stool of a hog. Second, pratishtha asha taru jada maya maru. He says, one who has pratishtha, asha, it is like a tree in jada maya maru, in a desert. Tree in a desert. It is a false mirage. When one gets some fame, somebody says, oh, you very nice devotee, you do this service very nicely. Immediately, you have a hope that now everyone is going to say nice things about us. But the truth is, it was just a one-off thing that the person said, and after 5 seconds the person's forgotten what he said. But it's remaining in your head. Oh, asha. Pratishtha brings out asha. Oh, now I have become famous. Now I am somebody. Yeah. So Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says this. First quality, it is just useless like a hog's stool, pig's stool. Second, it brings so much disappointment, but ultimately it brings disappointment. Third is pratishtha chandali. Chandali means witch. See, a witch is very attractive. But once you embrace her, she will bite you off. Correct? So pratishtha is very attractive. Very attractive. Somebody mentioning your name, you are very famous. When I say very famous, even if somebody appreciates you, it's very attractive. Right? But it is chandali, because it will take you away from Krishna. And last he mentions pratishtha baghini. Baghini means, bagh means tiger. Baghini means tigress. Imagine you have a pet tiger. You feel so powerful. So pratishtha makes you feel powerful. Oh, I'm somebody. But the same tigress will mercilessly eat you up. Right? If you make friends with the tigress, when she is hungry, she'll eat you up. The same pratishtha will eat you up. So, I will conclude by saying this. This is the conclusion of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Pratishtha sambhar tahar sampatti kebalo kaitaba. We must garland this, and we must remember this. If we are performing devotional service and have any desire for being recognized, any desire for recognition, even noticed, appreciated, desire, we want appreciation, then Siddhanta Saraswati's conclusion is pratishtha sambhar. Anyone performing devotional service with pratishtha as an ingredient of his devotional service, tahar sampatti kebolo kaitaba. His wealth is simply not bhakti, but his wealth becomes simply kaitaba, cheating. He is simply a cheater. Simply a cheater. So we give appreciation, we feel gratitude towards others, but we do not desire appreciation, do not desire fame, like these wonderful personalities who only desired prachar, nothing else. So, pratishtha sambhar tahar sampatti kebala kaitaba. One who desires recognition, fame, adoration, profit, what is their wealth? Only cheating. They are simply cheating. Whom are they cheating? They are not cheating others. They are only cheating themselves. They are not moving anywhere. Lokaranjanam. Bhakti hinasya. They have no bhakti. They are simply doing entertainment work. It is entertainment work. This is verse from Hari Bhakti Sudodhaya. Hari Bhakti Sudodhaya is the later part of Naradiya Puran. This is spoken by Narad Muni. Also quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. So, with this, I will stop here. And I think I've gone over time by 3 minutes. So, no time for questions, unfortunately. If there is any comments or corrections, please let me know.